Hey everybody, I'm Trevor.
I'm Vincent.
And we are the Anthony and Todd Show, and today we're going to be taking a look at the latest record by Billy Woods and Kenny Segal, Hiding Places. And the hiding place is apparently a gigantic house. This is a collaborative record by rapper Billy Woods and producer Kenny Segal. Billy Woods is part of the Brooklyn-based Arm & Hammer duo, along with Elucid, who worked with Milo last year on Nostrum Grocers, and also worked on the Arm & Hammer record with Billy Woods, Paraffin, also from last year. And then Kenny Segal is a Los Angeles producer who actually produced the entirety of Milo's So the Flies Don't Come back in 2015. So I guess they're just working with each other.
Yeah.
I think Billy Woods got jealous of Elucid and Milo, and so he got his old producer. He's like, let's make a record. And then him and Elucid will get back together later this year. Billy Woods, of course, probably most known for his really great discography. 2015, Today I Wrote Nothing. 2017, Known Unknowns. 2018, of course, Paraffin. And Segal actually lent some production to Paraffin, again from last year.
Personal opinion here. I haven't really enjoyed a solo Billy Woods project. I respect Billy Woods a lot.
I think,
but for me personally, I haven't really enjoyed a lot of his solo work because it just feels... It feels so chokehold a lot of times with the ideas and the performances and the production. It doesn't really give you a moment to breathe enough. Paraffin kind of changed my mind on it because I think that it tried to explore the deepest realms of hip-hop possible, and I think Elucid with a lot of his verses. And while I still have my problems with that record, as I state in the review, like the chemistry being off between those two, because I feel like they just put off the same vibe, that it's kind of, there's not enough contrast between the two. They almost seem like one individual, which in some cases is good, but in this I feel like it's just almost adding a level of the chokehold, which I didn't really care for. I did like the percussion of Paraffin, and Kenny Segal provided some production to that, so I was hoping that this collaboration would work out really well. And in the end, I think it is. This is the best Billy Woods non-Arm & Hammer album that I've enjoyed so far. Yeah. I think the chemistry actually works out because I think the layout, it takes us to these hectic places, but there's build-up. I don't feel like the record's dragging on too long. The hooks on this, which I had problems with on Paraffin, actually work out really well, and they're some of the best moments on this record compared to any time they try to execute a hook on Paraffin. It just didn't really work. Yeah, it seemed a bit clunky. And this, it comes off really smooth, like on Spongebob, the whole operation underwater, like Spongebob. It's stupid, but I think we do get a lot of ideas. I feel like Billy Woods is almost like he's like ravenous on this project. He seems like he's been like neglected for a long time, and now this is just like his comeback. He's delivering some of his most ravenous verses to date, and it's just shocking because we're getting kind of some of the stream of consciousness rap style we've heard from him and Elucid before, but now I think it's just over this production from Kenny Segal. It works out really well. We get a lot of like heavy guitar and heavy bass that really clash it. We get some nice like moody atmospheric pianos. There's this air of like mystery and like almost mystery, but like insecurity as well, because it's just like you don't know what's around the next corner. You don't know what to expect. A sense of paranoia. I think that really lays out through the album. I think this album works really well because I at least wanted to hear a lot of Billy Woods and just him throughout this project. And for first 5 tracks we get that, and then we get a feature on like the 6th track, and then we get to hear Elucid and some other features later down the line.
Maybe they're not fighting.
It's nice to hear that we get a couple features, but it's mostly Billy Woods. And when we do need these breaks, like we hear a voice from Elucid, and it's nice, a little bit of a shake up. Yeah. I just feel like this thing's really laid out well. It takes a nice beat. You start off with Spongebob and Steak Nice, and then Checkpoints, but Spider Hole, and then all the way to A Day and a Week of Year, kind of slower comparative to everything else, and then we get straight into like Bedtime, Crawlspace, and Speak Gently, which are some of the most hectic tracks I've heard in hip-hop all year. This thing, when it wants to be intense, it is super intense. It is all over the place, jagged. It's kind of psychedelic in tone. I
actually read a quote pretty recently about this record, probably yesterday, and it said that this record was a lot like walking through a haunted house with confidence. And, like, you never know what's going to come up behind you, or you never know what's going to come out from behind every single door. But, like, the way that Billy Woods is guiding you through this, like, with such intensity, makes you feel like you, at least, like, you have to trust him. I don't really trust, like, Billy Woods as, like, a narrator. He just has that, like, air of shiftiness about him, you know? But here I feel like you have no choice but to trust him in him leading you through, like, a potentially dangerous environment. And that is, like, a really exciting feeling.
Yeah.
To, because you're not in any personal danger listening to the record. But, like, you feel like your character is, you feel like your conscience is.
I think it's on the track Speak Gently, where he goes over this idea of how you should never get your mail forwarded because it's almost this, like, because you have to pay for your debts, and it's almost
it's like how poor people, like, don't get their mail forwarded.
Yeah, and it also shows cases this idea of how like in society we've emasculated this huge debt for all these, like, pointless things, or things that shouldn't even had debt in the begin with, and it's just gonna stack up, and when someone dies, it's just gonna continue to stack up for no reason. I just found it to be a really interesting idea on this album. I really enjoyed the closer, Red Dust. I think that's a more almost melodic place for him to go, and I'm also a more natural place and an ending that I wasn't expecting, because everything on here is very unnatural, and in the end we get this more acoustic-like moment or performance, at least with the production, at least with the twanginess of the guitars and the drums.
Yeah.
I just think it works out. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this record. I was not expecting to like this as much as I did. I really like Paraffin. Took a while to grow on me. So I knew I could enjoy this, but I didn't think the chemistry between these two was going to work out as well. I think Kenny Segal does a great job of making a backdrop for Billy Woods to be over. And I think these two work out really well. Like, I really enjoy the chemistry between these two and how they layer on top of each other.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot of records this year, collaborative records between, like, a well-known rapper and then a well-known producer. I think this is the best one so far.
Yeah.
Out of Malibu Ken and Blue and Ono, I think this is the best one.
Yeah, because it just seems like one unit, but they each aspect of this duo has their characteristics, and they even out to each other. It's not production heavy,
pulling their weight.
Yeah,
too.
It seems like each one has their characteristics,
yes.
And it's like it's not just defiant on production quotes for the hook, and it's not just defiant on Billy Woods for the hook. It's not just defiant on Billy Woods' sense of narrative to take you through these tracks, take you through this haunted house, the shape these spots.
Right.
It's dependent on the backdrop of the atmosphere too. It's like you need both of these to have one successful unit, and I think it works out well.
Yeah.
That's all I really say. I really enjoyed this record. Probably one of the best abstract art rap experimental hip hop albums you'll hear all year, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Till next time, guys. I'm Vincent.
I'm Trevor.
And see you, boys.
Bye, everybody.